All right. Hey, class, how's it going? So here we are in Unit 1.2, and what I want to talk about today are the FECC library databases. This is going to be a resource that for the next couple of papers is going to be critical, and for the rest of your college career, knowing how to access solid research articles from peer-reviewed journals is going to be of critical importance. And so I want to spend some time talking about what a database is, why databases are so helpful to research today, and then I'm going to show you some practical application of how to log into the FECC uh, library research databases from off campus. So, as always, if you have any questions about this, make sure to let us know. All right. So, first off, what is a database? And so this some of you might be familiar with this term, and for some of you this might be a fairly new term. A database is basically quite simply a collection of data that is searchable in some particular fashion. And so this is an old phone book. And I imagine most of you have still seen a phone book at some point. And a phone book is a very simple database. And it can only be researched or queried using one particular field, and that is a person's last name. So I remember when I was in middle school and high school, if there was a girl that I liked, I would have to know obviously her last name, but I would also, because these were by usually fathers' names for the household, I would have to know her father's name if there were multiple of the last name in the family. So, phone book, you go in and you look up, and here is Harrington, and then all of these people are all the different Harringtons, and then it shows their address, and then it shows their phone number. And so, if you knew someone's address, that could also be help you verify. However, in a traditional phone book, in this data collection, you couldn't search by someone's address to find their phone number or to find their name. You could only look down alphabetically and by their last name. And so a phone book is a very simple database. But basically, a database is a spreadsheet, and it has lots of fields in it. And up at the top, you might have name. Let's just use this one, address. I'm just going to say address, and then phone. And if this database of a phone book becomes computerized, you can look up a person by their address, by their phone, or by their name and find all of the other information about that particular individual based on that research. And so a database from a research perspective is very similar. You can search by author, you can search by the title, you can search by topic, you can search by word by word. And so research databases have completely revolutionized the way in which, just in the last 20 or so years, that we conduct research. So I want to take you back to my Writing 101. I took Writing 101 as a running start student in 1998. And when I took Writing 101, there were no, at least the community college that I went to did not have electronic databases yet. It was pre-database. And so when I had to write my 101 argument and research papers, I would head to the library and I would be faced with row after row of books that look like this. And typically you'd walk up to, and so like, let's say this whole series might be one particular area of study. Let's say it had to do with, this might be biology articles, and it would maybe have a year range from 1996 to 97. And that's all that would be biology stuff from a couple of journals from 96 to 97. And over here, I'd come over and I'd pick up one of these first books. And this book would have all of the topics. And so this would be a topics book. And I would sit down and I would search. And let's say that I wanted to do a research paper on whales. And I would flip open this book and I would flip all the way out, and there would just be topics alphabetically. And I'd flip to the section where it would say whales. And then under whales, it would give me something like volume 3, 166 to 170. And then it would say volume 16, 280 to 282. And then it would keep going and keep listing these off. So then I'd have to go to these other books and I'd pick up volume 3 and I'd go to page 166 through 170 and I would look at the article to see if the article was even remotely useful for my study of whales. And this would go on and on and on. There'd probably be 8 or 10 entries and I'd filter through these various books to see, and maybe I'd find one, maybe I wouldn't. And then after I got done with 1996 to 1997, this particular stack, I'd go over to this particular stack because this particular stack would have been the same biology resources from 1994 to 1995. And I would start over and I would take out that first book at the beginning of the series. I'd look up whales and I get all these version numbers. And so by the end of a research period, you might have 30 or 40 of these thick volumes flipped open, and you're trying to determine which articles you might be able to put together for your potential research paper. Now, what do? Fast forward to our contemporary period, and all we need to do is we turn on our computer, we go to the library research databases, and poof, we're off and running. So the next thing that I want to talk about is some people say, well, why can't I just Google this stuff? Well, you can, but we're going to spend a lot of time talking about what makes up a quality source. And a quality source is something that's undergone what we call peer review. So how does peer review work and why is it important? So peer review, let's say that I'm very interested in science fiction. So let's say that I write an article about science fiction. We're just going to call this Conrad's sci-fi article. And I want to get my article published. And so I'm going to send my article off to 5 different sci-fi journals, academic journals. And once it gets to the journal editors will take a look at my article and they'll say, yeah, maybe this is pretty good. We might get it. We might publish this. But then before they'll publish it, what they'll do is they will send my article out to, usually it's an odd number, to 5 different people who will review my article. And they either give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on whether or not they think, because they're also experts in science fiction, not just random people, but experts. And so maybe I get 4 thumbs up and I get 1 thumbs down, and the publisher says, yeah, that's pretty good, we'll publish it. But if I were to get, let's say in the flip side, if I were to receive bad reviews and they would say, no, we're not going to publish that. It's poor academic research. It's not well argued. No, we don't buy this. And so unlike newspapers and a lot of the other forms of information that we gather on the internet, there is no process of review. And so academic journals are peer reviewed. Other experts in the field have reviewed the articles before they even get published. So this is sort of the gold standard if we are interested in creating knowledge and interested in having high quality review. So how do we do it? How do we access it? Well, here we go. So the first thing you need to do is you need to navigate to the FVCC library database, and so or the where you start to access the databases. So I'll just do a search up here, FVCC library data. I'm just going to go straight to the library, FVCC library. And once I get to the FVCC library links, I'll click here. And here we go. You can also navigate through the college website, but I usually just use Google to get me there fairly quickly. Now, right here, we can search journal articles, books, ebooks, and more. So I'm just going to show you quickly. I want to research whales, and I want to see what comes up. Today, my search will be far simpler than it was. All right, as you can see, I now have 400,000 results on whales. Now, so what I could do is I can go through and I can refine this to, to become far more specific to a particular topic. Maybe I want to research whale feeding habits in the North Atlantic, or something more specific, and then I would have the ability to do that. So that's a research database. This is how you get there. Now, for this particular first assignment, you're going to need to use SIRS research database. And so I want to go through and show you exactly what that will look like. And we're going to come down here and we're going to go to databases, and databases can be found under advanced search. Oh no, this isn't where I want to go. Sorry about that. Journals A to B. Oh no, sorry, databases A to B. So when I go to the database A to B, A to Z, these are all of the different databases that we have access to. These are paid for, or these are ebooks, but I'm going to go to all subjects. And what I want to do, so there's 168 databases. For this particular assignment, we're going to go to the SIRS database, which I'll put links in, but I just want to show you how to get to this. SIRS Issue Researcher. And once we click here, this is going to take us to SIRS. Now, I'm already logged into SIRS, but what you will want to do is over here, this is a link that you'll see in our course resources under this video, and this will show you how to log in off campus. But basically, you're going to be using your FECC username that you use to access computers and the Wi-Fi, and then the password that you use to sign on to a computer or to the Wi-Fi. And if you've never changed that, here are all the instructions on the generic password that's already established and your username. But if you have any trouble, contact the help desk at the library, and they can walk you through any challenges that you might run into. So once you get in here, then this is the SIRS. So this is after you were to log in. You'll end up at the SIRS Issue Researcher. And what I would like you to all do is connect your accounts, because this is going to provide some really nice opportunities for you. So connect your Google account, and you'll be able to save all of your articles and documents right in your Google FECC Google Drive. And that should be save you a lot of time if you consistently use that. So I'm not going to walk you through that process. You can walk yourself through that process. But databases, they're super helpful. Tons of information. We're going to have more review of how to effectively use databases in the coming units. But for right now, learn how to get logged in, learn how to get to the SIRS Issue Researcher, because that's the one you're going to need. And let us know if you have any questions.